Predictions for a strong Australian economy. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I have my stein of coffee and I thought we'd have a look at this article shared to me by a viewer from Yahoo Finance. Now, it's to do with the predictions of a strong economy and it's written by economist Stephen Kakoulis. And considering the piece I released this morning, looking at the chances and the predictions of a recession this year where the economists seem to have missed out, well, a few little things happening around the world, I thought this might be interesting to have a look at. So let's have a look. For even the best economists, I think that's a questionable term, reading the economy can be a tricky business, especially when there are large and observable events that we know will have a material impact on growth, employment, and inflation. Well, shouldn't the best economists be working at the Reserve Bank? If their methodology is continually proven wrong, shouldn't you fundamentally question the theory that you're applying? This is why economics is definitely more a social science than a real science, than a hard science. I remember when I first started studying economics at university, I thought it was funny that they kind of thought of themselves as a real science, as a hard science. I thought, but you're not. The trick is to not only estimate which direction the so-called shock will be, will it cause GDP growth to be stronger or weaker, and over what time frame, but then working out how big the impact will be. Well, see, fundamentally there's a problem here, because the economy is a complex emergent system. So you can't, it's going to be impossible for you to predict it just with isolated data bits of information coming together. You could probably argue for a general trend or a general direction, but it can't be 100%. So I would put the argument that means any intervention is probably going to have more unintended consequences than people realize, so it's best to step back. It's best to limit intervention, best to stop with artificial interventions like these insanely low cash rates. But that's just me. What do I know? So this is the case right now with the bushfires, which will impact on the economy over the next year or two. So there seems little doubt that near-term impact will be negative, but longer term, when we look back to the middle of 2020 and into 2021, it could actually provide a boost to GDP growth and all that goes with it. Okay, so I don't understand how anyone can see that. The problem is here, and I'm just going to bring up on my other video, a video I'm going to refer to with regards to the broken window fallacy. Now this is I don't know why it keeps coming back. Broken window, and I'll bring it up, guys, because I didn't think we'd be having to refer to this again and again. And what I'll do is we'll just jump here, and I've done several videos on it. You know, the broken window fallacy, government spending to the rescue, stimulus spending waste. And I will link to this one. It's a 5-minute video, guys. The broken window fallacy. If you're not familiar with it, have a look at it. The argument is, essentially, that, you know, because this window's been damaged, this will be great for the window repairer in the example, because it will stimulate his business, and then he'll go on to spend. But the problem is the person who had the broken window then has to divert resources away from something else. So he could have been looking to invest in something else, or to buy shoes, or to pay for education. But now those resources need to be removed from that and paid to repair something. So that person is just at the same level. Whereas otherwise it would have gone on and flowed on through the economy. Disasters are not a benefit in the end. You've got to realize, even if the insurance companies are paying for it, that's all money you've paid to the insurance companies for years prior. And it's also going to be causing increases in insurance premiums everywhere else. So it'll be a greater cost to the economy. So why? But then this economist was an advisor to the Gillard or the Rudd government, so I can't really say it's too surprising. He probably hasn't even looked at these fallacies. So what has been overlooked is the underlying health of the economy prior to the fires. It was verging on strong. Verging on strong. verging on strong. Why is GDP... first, GDP growth, why is it declining? Why is wage growth? Why has the RBA failed so many times? Why isn't there such a high demand for workers, guys? If it's verging on strong, why was our construction sector overheated by so much foreign investment? And now, building approvals are taking a plunge. They are taking a plunge. How is this strong? Why? Why? Okay, and let's bring this up here. We'll look at the Observatory of Economic Complexity, guys, and I will bring this up. Why, if our economy is strong, why is if it's strong, we've got funny things going on with my screens here at the moment. Why is our economy 59th in the world with regards to complexity? And we're so dependent on our exports. 48 billion in iron ores, 47 billion in coal. Big chunk of it, 35% of our exports are heading over to China. Our tourist industry of $60 billion. Heavily dependent on China. And now travel is banned from there. What's strong about that? What is the measure of strong? Is it just... Well, economists, they tend to be... Do they ever run businesses, really? Are they innovators? You'd think they'd be the best ones to run... some of them don't even understand money. So how... I don't understand how it's strong. Can someone please explain to me how we were strong before the bushfires? Why is why is housing affordability, just ludicrous? Or is it just housing? Or why is business confidence down? Why is business conditions down? Why is consumer confidence down? How is this strong? So economic hiccups are expected. The classic case of a shock to the economy was the global financial crisis a little over a decade ago. Classic case of a shock to the economy. Okay? I think there are other more useful classic cases, but sure. Every economist knew the fallout would be hugely negative for the Australian economy. Really? How many of them have said, no, it'll all be good, it'll all be good? It's all hindsight, I guess. The known unknowns were how much the impact would be, how long would it last, and how effective the policy stimulus would be as the government and the RBA threw the policy sink at the unfolding problems. Treasury took the rare step of forecasting a recession, which somewhat ironically nearly arrived. This was not because the global fallout from the GFC was any less than initially expected. It was far worse. The error in judging the extent of the shock by Treasury was due in large part to the policy effectiveness, which saw a raft of fiscal and monetary policy stimulus measures which were staggeringly effective in supporting the economy. No, they weren't. No, they weren't, Mr. Economist. And I will put another argument to you here. This chart is showing the GDP growth per capita. Okay, the blue line there. Black line is our trend. Now, since the GFC, right about here, we have been growing below trend. The economy has been depressed. I worked it out to be about 10% below. So the size of our economy should be below. We're going backwards per person in this country. And I would say a lot of people might have encountered that. How many people now can't afford a house? Sure, I mean, times are very good. Civilization is quite good. We've got good... the environment is very good. Quality of life is very good. Access to food and information is better than we've ever had before. But the economy still has been depressed. Opportunities are still getting worse. And you're having a generation now that are trapped out of the same opportunities that their parents had. I would say the claims that the intervention into the market from the GFC only delayed the pain that's going to cause. I would say that it has driven up, driven up housing prices, inflated up housing, which is 50% of the wealth of our nation. Australia's a primitive country, primitive economy, guys. And you've got all these people in the comments going all about third world. Okay, third world doesn't exist anymore. You've got some cities in Africa that are much more sophisticated than us. You've got nations which 50 years ago would have been considered primitive, now able to produce much more advanced products, more complicated products than we can. Australia can't compete, everyone. Okay, we're a colony. We just ship stuff overseas and import everything. So how can it be claimed a success? Look at that. Is that successful? When we're driving investment away from things which could be productive to stuff that isn't. So this is one argument for a depression. The other argument, or the other definition, is just a mega recession. A mega recession. So then what do we call this? This is just as important. 10 years of below trend growth with all artificial stimulus, prompting, and artificially low cash rate. They're not allowing the creative destruction in the economy due to political reasons. And I think we'll suffer all in the end. Anyway, so experts got the GFC wrong. In the case of the Australian economy, every forecaster got the impact of the GFC wrong. Most famously, Professor Stephen Keen said in 2019, Australia will experience a depression that will last for 10 years if we're lucky, and that house prices will fall 40%, with the unemployment rate rising to 10 to 15% and could go as high as 20%. Okay. Well, I've just showed you where our economy has been depressed for the last 10 years, below trend, particularly per capita. Unemployment rate, if you look at the Roy Morgan data, yeah, 10 to 15% isn't that far off. If you look at the underutilization rate, 20% is definitely. Now, the 40% house prices, okay, that hasn't happened. But what about the affordability of housing? Or the purchasing power of housing? Or what about if we looked at the value of housing in relation to gold? Fast forward to today, and there's no doubt bushfires and smokes will impact the economy. It would be silly to suggest the economic effects that are akin to the GFC. Sorry, it would be silly to suggest the economic effects will be anything akin to the GFC. The negative impact will be short-term and will probably have passed through the data in economic sense by June quarter 2020. When the smoke clears, from the second half of 2020, the net effect of GDP from the fires will be positive. What? I've got to read that again. From the second half of 2020, the net effect on GDP from the fires will be positive as the rebuilding of dwellings, commercial real estate infrastructure and replace. No, that's not how it works. No, that is not additional spending. Does he actually believe this crap? Does he believe this rubbish? No, it's the false window fallacy. You can't do it. Watch this video. Go to the definitions on Investopedia. Guys, type in false window fallacy. Do people believe this? And the worrying thing is, this economist was speaking to our political leaders, everyone. This is what the people are whispering behind them. The politicians don't do everything. They've got a whole lot of aides to support them because they're bloody busy kissing babies, flipping sausages, and like Bill Shorten, eating a Bunnings sausage the wrong way. Okay, that's hard work. So that's what worries me. That's what worries me. And they get paid a lot of money for it anyway. Boy, oh boy. In the next few months, there will likely be a raft of poor economic indicators published, like the recent consumer sentiment results that showed a sharp dip in January. And I mean, he's talking about 1,000, 2,000 homes, guys, in the bushfires. And I know that is tragic, guys. It is. But what about, that's not a significant number with regards to dwelling approvals per month. What about tourism from overseas that is going to get destroyed by this, by the footage all over the world of Australia entirely on fire? Has he even thought about that? No, we're going to buy a bit more furniture and rebuild houses. I don't understand. I don't understand. Can someone explain it? See, this is the problem, okay? When being 100% right and being 100% wrong feels exactly the same. You can't really tell. I'm reading this thinking, well, it seems completely obvious that in the end it's going to be a net negative because of all the other factors. Okay, he probably is saying, well, no, it'll be good because it'll increase this and this. So we're, both approaching the same situation from different perspectives. Perhaps it's, well, I'd argue that the government intervention in the GFC will be felt, and it may not be as drastic as Keane has said, or it probably is, and we don't even realize it. There's a whole generation of people out there that are feeling it. So, what has been overlooked is the underlying health of our economy prior to the fire. Yes, said Strong. The Ilion survey of business conditions was at record high. Yeah, but there are other surveys that were record low. Who cares? At the same time, house price growth was strong. Well, no, it wasn't. That's only in certain quartiles. We've looked at that before, again and again and again. Was strong in national-wide house price. Yeah, okay, whatever. Housing is not the value of housing is not the economy, guys. It's not. It's not the most. It shouldn't be the most important thing of the economy. What is more important, house prices or wage growth? What would be a better indicator? What would be a better indicator for the state of the economy? Let me just throw that out there to you. And you let me know in the comments. House prices are going up. There's a lot of demand. That could be coming from foreign investors. But arrears rates are also going up. Or it could be stimulated by insanely low cash rates and maybe APRA easing. Now, if wages go up, what does that say? Well, from someone who has employed people, I can tell you what it says. You pay wages to reward your staff. And everyone goes, oh no, employers will rip off workers. That's bullshit. Guys, they don't. Most Australians are paid well above the minimum wage. So it's utter crap. Okay? What happens is, if there is competition for good people, you pay them more, you pay them extra, you do what you can to get them. This is in a merit-based civilization and a merit-based economy, and when you're dealing with merit-based people, the whole SJW garbage of quota fillers, that's not even worth considering. That shouldn't even be part of the economy, honestly. If anything, that's an economic loss. But the reason I would say wages aren't growing is there's not enough demand. There's not enough competition for workers. It's that simple. And, well, one thing you have to think about, employing someone in this country is a pain in the rear hind, a pain in the ass, guys. I know a lot of business people, a lot of small business people that will, in the past, they would have had an assistant. They'll offshore it. I know practices, architectural practices that would have teams of drafting people, all offshore. Because it's cheaper? Sure. Not that cheaper, actually, when you think about it all, when you add it all together and the logistics. But there's less BS to deal with. Less BS, less bureaucracy, less paperwork, less government intervention. So, the fact that this isn't growing tells me, fundamentally, the economy isn't powering long enough. And combine that with the 10 years of depressed growth, it makes a lot of sense. So how can his claims that this intervention into the economy from Rudd times, or Gillard times, during the GFC was good, was effective, if we're not seeing enough activity to drive up wages? And guys, anyone who's saying, oh, we need a higher minimum wage, no, that's not how it works. Okay, that will just result in more unemployment. That will result in more jobs going overseas. You need more activity. You need more business confidence. You need less red tape getting in the way. You actually need to make it easier to hire and fire people. Because when you hire someone, you need to give them 3 warnings. You need to go through all these processes, which is a lot of money and a risk, particularly if someone is crap. And I would guarantee you most people have never had to deal with that in their life. They've got no idea what it's like to pay someone out to get rid of them because they're a pain in the ass and there's all this HR rubbish, and that money's coming off your mortgage. Being a small business owner is a different world. Maybe I think that should be a prerequisite for every politician. 10 years small business, no lawyers, no teachers, no unionists. Perfect, just small business people all the way. I know that'll get me some likes in the comments. Maybe I got a bias there, guys. Do you think I have a bias? Let me know in the comments. So even retail spending, new dwelling approvals, employment and unemployment rate were a touch better from a low base at the end of 2019. As noted, the aggregate magnitude of the positive indicators is unclear, and they will no doubt have been impacted, at least in the short term, by the fallout from the fires and smoke. So he wants to watch an act. And I'm about to get invaded by an army of children, guys. But what do you think about this? What do you reckon? Do you reckon Stephen's on the money? Or is he dreaming? Is he dreaming? Because I bloody well think he's dreaming. Honestly. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to help me produce more content, I have a Patreon where you can make a monthly donation. We also have the ability for you to join the channel here on YouTube, where you get access to emojis and badges. We have affiliate links with Independent Reserve for your crypto trading, Amazon and eBay for your consumer purchases. It's a great way for you to support content creators without incurring any additional cost. We get a little advertiser's commission that adds up over time. I'm not complaining. Better to me than Amazon, guys. Finally, we have merch that we make on the HeiseSays website, pocket squares, suitable for any occasion, and PayPal and direct debit if you want to contribute that way. Thank you to the generous person that made a donation today. I really appreciate it. It all helps pay for equipment, lighting, and other stuff to produce this content. Take care, guys. Have a great day, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.